No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman and today, my friends, we have quite literally one of the most beautiful gin bottles I've ever seen on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce you to the Isle of Harris gin. Now, I've got this one on the show because a lot of people have been suggesting this, and I don't know if you can see, but it looks kind of just a normal clear bottle from there, but if you look at it on sort of a bit of an angle there, I'm not sure if you can get it on the camera, it all sort of turns some turquoise because it's got turquoise on the bottom like that, and for some reason, I don't know, I'm just quite taken with it. Plus the fact it seems to have an extra large cork in the top, so it promises an extraordinary cork test. So my friends, let's get quite literally stuck in. But before we do, I have to thank another one of my wonderful subscribers who has joined the hallowed ranks of my patrons. So Mr. Sandy Stewart, thank you very much. You are an official supporter of the show, and you're a gentleman, almost forgot that, and I salute you. By the way, just so you know, we're having an unseasonably cold April here in London. It's absolutely freezing here. I was going to do it in the coat, but I don't really like it. It restricts my movements, and I like to be free, as you know. So I've installed a little heater down behind me here, which is, oh my God, that's really hot. Jesus Christ, ow, ow, ow. Well, at least we know it works. So if you see me shivering occasionally, it's not the shakes from drinking too much gin, it's just because I'm too cold. And if you see me screaming in pain, it's just because I've burnt all my hands. All my hands? Both my hands. Anyway, on with the show. And this one, my friends, is, well, I'm approaching this with an air of sort of trepidation, to be honest, because it is from the Highlands, the Outer Hebrides, Scotland. Well, an island off the edge of Scotland, off the coast of Scotland, I think. And as many of you know, I think it was the Scottish accent that was to blame for my damage to my voice recently. So I'm going to tread very carefully. But it's always good, they say, to get back on the horse that threw you. Not sure if that's actually relevant in this case, but we're going to do it anyway. We make every drop of We make every drop of our award-winning, I'm really terrible at the Scottish today, award-winning Isle of Harris gin here in the small village of Tarbert. Not sure why I say it like that, Tarbert. Our local distillers create this first offering from our island distillery in a small copper gin, a small copper gin still, which sits alongside her larger whiskey-making sisters in the distillery's bright spirit hall. We've nicknamed our gin still the Dortak, in honour of a I can never say similarly in Scottish, a similarly small and feisty local woman who is fondly remembered here in the Isle of Harris from days gone by. So apparently there was a small and feisty local woman who hung around in the Isle of Harris. I'm going to have to research the Dortak and find out more about her. Now this is interesting. Pay attention here. I sound like a teacher, don't I? So the key sort of thing which makes this gin unique is the botanical sugar kelp. Now kelp, I know, is seaweed. I have to be honest, I've never heard of sugar kelp, but it sounds kind of delicious, a sort of a sugary seaweed. We use sugar kelp seaweed gathered sustainably by hand from local lochs and seas as our key botanical to express our island's unique maritime nature. The spirit is then softened by fresh, low mineral rain waters, God, I'm struggling today, which flow from the nearby source stream of, oh my God, this is a very Scottish name, Aban, your gin's ready. Aban, knock, a charin. Now I'm probably almost certainly pronouncing that incorrectly, but well, that's the best I can do. Anyway, I think we get the general idea. I could sort of struggle through my Scottish accent every day, but I don't want to destroy my voice again, so I think we shall crack on, my friends. So then, let's get her open, and as I said before, there's an absolute behemoth of a cork in this one. So we know what that means, my friends. It's the behemoth cork test.
The behemoth cork test.
So then, let's just break the seal, see if we have a squeak in there. Just wait for that car to go by outside. There we go. Just one of the joys of working in an uninsulated garage studio. Here we go for the squeak. Ooh, we haven't had a squeak for a while, but that's quite a sort of a timid little like a little frightened animal, but a confident one, if you can imagine such a thing. Here we go, the full pull. Oh yes, a cheeky little pull. It wasn't quite the deep and thunderous pull I'd hoped for, but I like it anyway. And as we know, it's just a bit of fun, goddammit. Good Lord, that was louder than I expected. So then, let's get it in the old glass and have a nice, oh, it's a beautifully shaped sort of spout on there. Not a drop spilt on the desk today, my friends. So let me get this up the old nostrils and find out what it smells, yes. Find out what it smells like, so. Ooh. Oh, goddamn. Oh, as you know, my friends, I've sniffed a lot of gins. I am a prolific gin sniffer, but when you hear that sound, the that's usually a very positive thing in my view, because occasionally you get a gin that feels like it just puts two beautiful, velvety, scent-laden hands and just tickles the nasal passages, yeah, the passages, and massages them and just makes them feel good. It's like a massage with a happy ending, if that's not too clumsy a metaphor. What am I getting? Let me put it into sort of the English language. I think it's kind of a sort of an aromatic essence mixed with a certain sort of herbiness, but kind of a sort of saltiness as well. You can tell it's made by the sea. What was the other one? The Isle of Bute, the oyster one. It kind of reminds me of that, but with a freshness and a sweetness in there as well. It's kind of reminding me of the wonderfully scented gins, where I don't think I've got it. I think I've got it in the house because I've been drinking it. Yeah, the Melbourne Gin Company, which is one of the best smelling gins ever. It's sort of doing that. There's a whole lot packed into there. But again, we're talking a lot about sometimes we go on too much about the smell, but sometimes the smell is worth talking about, god damn it. But as we know, my friends, we are not here for the sniffing. Well, not much anyway. We're mostly here for the tasting. So let's get it in the old mouth. Now, I have to admit today, I made the cardinal sin. I've got up really early this morning to do these videos. I made the cardinal sin of brushing my teeth. And I was like, oh no, not again. I did that a while back with Seagrams and it actually improved the flavour, funnily enough. It's a truly terrible gin. However, I went online and I found out that if you want to get rid of the toothpaste taste, a little bit of a side note here, but sometimes, you know, we waver from the point and we sometimes find our way back again. If you want to get rid of the taste, just swill your mouth with warm water and then have a slice of bread. Wholemeal seeded, to be precise. Sorts the problem out. I have no more toothpaste taste in my mouth. So my friends, let's get, ooh, a nice little hiss from the tonic today. Let's get the old tonic in there. We're definitely going to try it neat. I'm getting better at not forgetting to try it neat, Sals, because lots of people have been chastising me for this. So about that much, I reckon. Let me check the ABV, because I've also been told off for getting the ABV. Now, this one, I believe, slightly bit more than what we usually find. It's 45%, which is interesting. Where's number 3? Because number 3 was 46%, and that little bit of sort of peppiness really made a difference, because as we know, that is the number 1 gin of 2020, and indeed was voted the world's best gin at some extremely important competition, the name for which I've forgotten. Anyway, my friends, there's a lot of gabbling this morning. Let's get the old thing in the mouth, shall we? So, Isle of Harris gin, I say to my friends, cheers. Oh, my friends, that is a nice gin. Now that's a pretty sort of mundane way of describing it, I know, because usually I go sort of all over the place, and allow me to do so because oh god, it's kind of, it's one of those gins that delivers exactly in the taste as you got in the aroma. It's kind of a, do you know what? It reminds me in many ways, it's very similar to number 6, which is interesting. Number 6? Number 3, I got my numbers mixed up. I don't know where 6 came from. 46% maybe. It's kind of one of those ones. It doesn't give you a list of botanicals in there, but I reckon it's going to be similar as the number 3 is, where they're kind of just your core sort of what I would say was standard botanicals, but they kind of used them expertly. So much so that they kind of create a perfect harmony, and it's very difficult to discern one from the other. But what I'm getting mostly is a beautiful sort of aromatic sort of sense, but balanced with sort of, it's a kind of almost a sort of a herbiness. There's a sense of something natural and plant-like in there, but with a sort of a essence of the sea. I don't know how they do this. These ones that are made by the sea, they kind of put an essence of the ocean in there. That sort of freshness, like I said about the Isle of Bute one, where sort of you stand by the seafront. If you got the sort of the waves crashing against the rocks and they go and fill the air, and you go smell that sort of salty freshness. There's a sense of that in there, which I guess is from the sugar kelp. And that, I think, again, I don't know what sugar kelp it is, whether it is sweet or sweetened sugary kelp, I don't know. But there's definitely, because what sets it apart from the Isle of Bute, which is kind of an interesting combination really, because they're both from that sort of same area in the world, that sort of islandy, Scotlandy area, which, as you can tell, I'm not an expert in how to describe Scottish islands, but I imagine that's what they're called. But what sets it apart from it, there's a sort of a sugary sort of mist that sort of, as you taste it, you get these kind of nice sort of, as I say, herbaceous and aromatic flavours, but kind of bursting out of them in a sort of a pop and crackle is a sort of a kind of a soft sugary fizz. I just got an email there, I don't know if you heard that. And it kind of lifts it from one thing to the next and kind of makes it sort of three-dimensional. And I think that's sort of, if that's not too pretentious, I think that's what makes a great gin. The worst thing you want is something two-dimensional. You want sort of multi-layered and sort of a journey as you take it. And that, my friends, is quite the journey. And also, because of that extra little bit of ABV, I always think it turbocharges the flavours. Like with the Anno, the world's strongest gin at 95%, I thought that was just going to be all about the strength, but the strength actually sort of boosts those flavours and charges them into something else. And that's in the same way that 46% one did with the number 3. In fact, they don't look like sort of colour-wise, if you look sort of sideways on, they're not actually, no, ignore that, they're not the same at all. However, this is going to be interesting. I think this is going to be one where it's bested with the tonic, as you know, in my opinions, most gins are. But let's try it neat anyway. 1 second. Yeah, to me, you kind of just get, particularly because we've got the extra ABV, you kind of just get mostly just strength there, and a lot of those flavours are dissipated. So this is one I reckon people will disagree with me, and that's absolutely fine, but I reckon this one is definitely best with the old tonic. So then, my friends, let's talk money. Now, this one, I'm afraid to say, it is an extraordinary gin. It's very, very good, excellent gin, I would say. However, it is an extraordinary price as well, because this little fellow shall set you back 45. It's particularly sort of a high price when I put a little H in front of it, even though it makes no sense. 45 English pounds, my friends, and it pains me to say it as the words leave my lips. That is an expensive gin. One of the most expensive. It was not quite on the sort of the level of the anti-gin at £200, but that's a lot. As you know, for small little distilleries, I raise my bracket from 30 to 40, but 45 is a lot to pay. However, and that, just so you know, that's the equivalent of $62.52. And the only good thing I would say is it is very, very good. So it's worth paying a bit more for. Is it worth going to that bracket? I'm not sure. If you've got a few quid knocking about in your back pocket, quid, by the way, is the slang term for pounds, like bucks is to dollars. Educational. If you've got a few quid knocking around, then yeah, go for it. However, I'm not particularly happy with that price, and it doesn't sit well with old Freeman here. So guys, to sum up, yes, we have found ourselves another very, very good gin, and we have to say a very classy looking bottle and would look wonderful on the old shelf. Extremely unique, very, very intelligently made, and as I always say, you can tell when a gin has had passion poured into it, and I tell you what, that is literally bursting. It's throbbing with passion, and I do like that, and I like the individuality of the kelp as well, but the gloss is taken off it for me by that slightly high price. But take the price aside, if you can afford it, definitely go for it. If you can't, I don't know. If you can't, then, you know, maybe I would say it's worth saving up for, but don't be buying it all too often, because you can get other stuff that is as good and not quite on the same price. But that's not to say it's a very, very good gin. So guys, an extraordinary video today if I do say so myself. If you have enjoyed it or derived any pleasure in any way, shape or form from watching it, then as always, don't forget to, if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel, press the little like button and the bell icon, and if you want to support the show like good old Sandy Stewart, the old Stewmeister General did, head over to the what is it called again, the Patreon page, or indeed press the join button below this video. But until next time guys, you know the drill, take care. Stay safe. Thank you to all my patrons and members, and keep drinking thy gin. I don't know why I said thy, I've gone all medieval.